Everybody, I had the most incredible conversation with Brett from Get Fit Done. He comes to us from New York. He has an incredible story, and he just hopped back on YouTube after 4 years. He talks about why he left, why he's back, and everything that he's learned since, and everything that he's up to now. You're going to love this episode. This is the Afterburn podcast. Let's get to it. Come on. Hey, well, welcome to another episode of the Afterburn podcast, and I'm excited about this one. This is my friend Brett right here. And
hello.
Brett, thank you, man. Thank you for being here. I know I reached out just last week, man, and I saw the reason why I reached out is because I saw you made a comeback to YouTube, and I couldn't be more excited. I know that you have so many people that follow you, and I think it's been like 4 years and whatnot. We're going to get into
4 years. We're back in the grind.
Yeah, 4 years. And I want to talk about all that, man. But first of all, will you tell us a little bit about yourself and, where you're at and what you do and all that fun stuff?
Yeah. So for those who are not aware, my name is Brett. I teach fitness classes in New York City. You may have seen some of my videos. I made a channel called Get Fit Done probably about 6 years ago. This was right before COVID. And at this point, I've been teaching cycling classes for probably 3 or 4 years. And online, there is the people who are putting out 60-minute endurance rides to like some not fun, great music. And there is Peloton. And there's kind of no in between for people putting out decent quality content. I was like, I want some 20-minute hip hop rides. Let me see if I can put a camera in my studio. By my studio, I mean the gym I was teaching at. And I started cranking out videos and started posting consistently from there. So that was kind of my roadmap into posting YouTube content, at least on the fitness side.
Yeah, I love it, man. I found you early on because I started my channel right around COVID as well, and kind of in that search for who else is out there that's doing this, and one of the things that I appreciated right away was your energy. Like you just have this magnetic personality on camera. I can't even imagine in person. So we'll talk about that here in a minute. But your energy just comes through like crazy. Is that kind of just you, or is that something that comes alive? I'm a little introverted off stage, but I become extroverted on stage. What would you say your personality is?
I would say that actually came through training, because when I first started teaching cycling, I started teaching cycling because I wanted free classes at the gym I went to. Like New York City gyms are expensive. I was like, if I can get free membership, that's a win.
Yeah.
So I was like, how do I do that? I went and got certified. And then through the teaching, everyone can teach and tell you what you're doing. Oh, you're going 60 RPMs, or you're going to go for 2 minutes. But the most important thing is how you say it. It's like, okay, we're going 60 RPMs. It's no. Okay, we're going 60 RPMs. You're telling a story. You have to make it captivating, because that's the difference between anybody saying numbers or people giving it with conviction. So my whole thing was, I want music that I enjoy, and I'm going to tell that story. That way you can at least enjoy it yourself too. It has to be the music and the personality coming together, I think.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. I always tell one of my roles at Lifetime, we were chatting before, is I oversee the group fitness department at Lifetime. And so one of the things that I always look for in instructors is if they're using their voice as an instrument, right? And it's not just regurgitating information, to your point, that anybody can say. Anybody could say, do this, we're going there. But how are you bringing that to life?
Vocal reflection to the max, exactly.
Yes. How are you using it in different ways? And that's a whole conversation too that we could talk about as well. Just that whole training and using different moments. Like you just said you had some training on that. What did that look like for you?
So that was pretty basic. That was just coming in the door. I didn't know how to teach a class at all. So that's okay. What goes into teaching a class? Meaning,
and how long ago was this, by the way? How long ago?
This had to be 7-8 years ago, probably 8 years ago at this point.
Okay.
So that was literally a Schwinn certified cycling at the JCC studio near me. And that was literally the basics. How do you set up someone's bike? Are you having 10 to 15 RPMs difference between songs? How do you music map? Really the gritty basics. And then from there is more 3 months on bikes with trainers teaching you the ins and outs, the why you're doing things, not just how you're doing things. So that was the bare minimum basics. And then I started teaching, getting more certifications, and just putting hours on the bike pretty much.
Yeah. we call that pulpit time or stage time, right? The more experience you have, the more things you come up with, and the more animated you become. Is there anybody that you could say you drew inspiration from? Was it like another instructor there, somebody that we might know?
So I actually wasn't even into the big fitness game before. Like we are talking earlier, my whole background is in digital media, YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, that kind of world.
Okay.
So I came into it with more of like the analytical background as opposed to the personality aspect of it. And
Okay.
I wasn't really looking up to people now. Like now I look at some of the Peloton people like, oh, that's kind of the goal right there.
Mhm.
But there was not like one individual that's like, oh, I want to be like that. And especially coming into it as a guy, there was no one making content how I wanted it to be made. That's why I think I got lucky and it was good timing putting out content right before COVID, and then everyone needed content to take.
Yeah. Yeah. So you would say like you were the brains before you were the brand, right? Yeah, that's super cool. You kind of understood. And that's something that I kind of did reverse because I had taught in person for years. But I didn't know anything about YouTube. I didn't know anything about thumbnails. I didn't even want to be on the thumbnail. Like I just wanted it to be like text and some kind of here's what it's all about. Yeah.
Yeah, then it gets into, are you smiling in your thumbnail? You're making a strong muscle thing. Are you pointing? Like you can try a lot of different goofy things and see what works.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I started, kind of the reverse of how you kind of knew the ins and outs, which was evident because your channel just blew up right away. And
it's like a blessing and a curse. I think one of the first videos I put out was like a 20-minute hip hop video,
yeah,
which I look at now and it's trash. It's one of my first videos, but also has hundreds of thousands of views. And it's like, okay, it got people into the channel. At least now they have better content to see now.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's good and bad, but I'm always appreciative of it.
Yeah. There's a YouTuber, his name is Sean Kennel, and he teaches like YouTube growth strategies or whatever. And he always says, your first video is your worst video, and I think we could all attest to that one. We look back and like
it's facts, but you learn so much. And like the most important thing with YouTube or any social media is just consistency. You're not going to put out bangers all the time, but like if you're going to put out videos, that's the most important thing. I tell that to everyone.
Yeah, that's so cool. So as your channel was doing great, one of the things that you and I were DMing back and forth on Instagram was just the whole copyright content and being able to use mainstream music and all that. Talk to me a little bit about the pros and cons and the frustrations that you and I've experienced.
So for the average person, when I make a playlist and I put it up on YouTube, call it a 20-minute ride, we're gonna have 5 songs in there. There's a chance that they could all be perfectly fine to use. I'm gonna make $0 off of that because that money gets split up and pushed to YouTube and those artists. But it can get posted and it's fine. It'll get blocked in like 1 or 2 countries, fine. Yeah. There's also times where I get an entire playlist blocked. So that video I just spent hours on, like maybe a Meek Mill ride, just gets no love at all, waste of time. Or one song that has to get taken out. So there's times I just do that knowing I might have to get rid of an entire ride, but I do it because that's a ride I would want to take. Whereas opposed to, and a lot of the people now, it's not good or bad, so we'll use copyright-free music. Mm-hmm. Personally, I can't do that because I won't enjoy it as much. The downsides to that, for me doing it the way I am, 1, I'm going to lose videos because it will be copyrighted. And 2, I know it gets pushed less to an audience because YouTube can't monetize it. So for a couple of reasons, when those videos get flagged, you're going to get less recommended views, less search terms. So I'm definitely losing out there. I'm also making 0 money doing it, but it's videos I enjoy making. So I'm going to continue doing it, if that makes sense. Yeah,
absolutely. And I don't think, and everybody might not understand that, who rides with you, who rides with me. They don't get they don't understand the monetization part or what we lose or the time invested, all of those, nuances and things that happen behind the scenes. I know for me, that was our conversation. That was our struggle. That, man, I love, 90s or pop or rock, whatever it might be, that we love to work out to. But to your point, I would early on, I would upload my playlist before I recorded it just to see if it would even see the light of day.
Yeah.
Because to your point, it could either be completely blocked or it would be, you could show it, but it would be obviously demonetized and those artists would get the money. And I always thought that, man, that's so not fair because, I think there's two people, and you tell me if you could think of a third. I think there's two different artists in the world that kind of get the raw end of this. And that's people like you and I who create exercise videos trying to use music that we love, and then DJs. And so you have like two different artists that they create something beautiful out of something that somebody else made for music. And we mash that up and make a workout or a DJ mix out of it, and we get nothing. Like, what are your thoughts on
Correct. Well, yeah, my thought is very similar. Like, I can teach a class in person and use the same exact playlist, and it's perfectly fine. And now I'm putting it on a platform for people to do all over the world, and now it's an issue. But like, I don't need millions of dollars. I'm just happy when I make a couple of dollars. Great. I'm gonna make $12 off a video. Hallelujah. Pays for a nice coffee.
Yeah.
But like, the thing is, like, you're getting literally zero for something I put a lot of work into. The good news is I didn't start to make money. I grew up to like get better at cycling and make classes that I would want to take.
Yeah.
That part's been nice. I've sold a couple t-shirts and hoodies here and there, maybe some donations, but it's more of the community building aspect that I really, really enjoy, and see people come back 4 years later now. And like, the names you recognize, like, oh, this person's back. They've been riding with me for years, and they've still been taking classes over the past 4 years as well, still leaving comments. Like, that part's why it's worth it.
Yeah, that's super cool. Now, have you ever thought about doing like a Patreon or something, another, or do you have that, I guess?
I don't have that yet. My one thought would be, if I stick with this comeback right now, would be maybe put out one piece of content for free every week, and then maybe put two behind a paywall so I can start making some money doing what I enjoy as well. That way, there's still free content out there. And if you do want more, great. Maybe pay a little extra, and now there's something behind a paywall for you to come take. Yeah.
And I think people are supportive in that way. And again, I've seen, a lot of the comments that happen on your videos that are just amazing. Just the love that you have. I think people would have no problem, supporting Brett over behind a paywall, especially knowing like when we were finding out information like we're sharing right now, that, man, a lot of times we don't get a whole lot or nothing, I've since began to use Epidemic and Music Bed, and there's a lot of since I was introduced to copyright free music years ago, it's come a long ways. I was still not the same obviously as mainstream music, but it's gotten really good. And so I've opted to go that route for some of mine. And then there's another website, and I'm sure you've heard about it, but it's called licked.com. And you could purchase mainstream music and use it that way, but it only lets you use it one time, and it's still all of these like boundaries around it, Yeah,
there's still no easy way there's no workaround, there's no easy way out of it. It's like you have to choose one of the two pretty much. Whereas you can make money, monetize it, and have copyright free music, or you go the other route, so you're gonna make $0, but maybe make something you enjoy personally more. It's just kind of like dealer's choice.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Tell me a little bit more about your in-person classes, kind of what goes into that.
So when I start making a playlist, first thing I do is I'm going to go throw 20, 30 songs into a playlist, all genres. Because most of the times I'm not teaching a themed ride. It's not a Bieber versus Beyonce. It's like a pretty standard, because in the class, like for example, this morning, I have people who are 22 years old, and I have people who are 75 who've been members of Equinox for, no joke, 28 years. Yeah. So it has to be accommodating for all. Yeah. Once I do that, I know generally how I want my playlist to be structured. First two songs, we warm up, intervals, climb, out the saddle, recovery, retweet that. So now I figure out, okay, what's my climb going to be? 60 to 65 RPMs. I look at my playlists, I sort it by BPMs, and now I know I have 4 songs I could fit that, drag and drop. So it's kind of formulaic at this point. I know how many songs I need, how many climbs I need, what RPMs it has to be, and just drop and drag in there. And then you can finesse things a little bit. If there's one song I really want to use, but it doesn't fit a speed, okay, cool, I'm going to use that for intervals then, just because I need some hype song for number 7 or something like that.
Yeah, I love that. If you're listening and you're an indoor cycling instructor, that's experience right there, because Brett, you clearly understand like how to use music, even in ways where if it doesn't fit, like I'm going to use it a different way. And I heard you say a couple of things that's super important for all instructors, and that is casting a wide net. Like, you're not putting yourself into a position where one genre meets one group of people or one age group or one type of personality, because you clearly understand. And that's the same way at Lifetime. You know, there could be somebody that's in their early 20s, and I have people in my classes that are in their 70s, and you have to cast that wide net.
Exactly. Like, there's times a couple weeks ago, I played Big X the Plug, who's like a big Texas rapper who you might have not have heard of, but now I have Marsha in the front row listening to Big X the Plug, which is just so entertaining for myself.
Yeah.
Does she really enjoy this large rapper yelling at her? No, not at all. But like, she also knows that in the next 2 songs, she might get like a slow Miley Cyrus song that she will enjoy. So I definitely try to even it out.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And to your point, you get to introduce modern music or music to every age that they may not listen to. And that's kind of cool too. You know, just
Exactly.
to see, you know, somebody in their 70s or whatever kind of bobbing their head to some hip hop or EDM, you know, and you're like, hey, in what other context would they get experienced or exposed to this type of music? And then on the flip side, you're playing something in 80s rock or something that they love. And that's so wise. That's so wise. I've met different instructors over the years that kind of pigeonhole themselves into one type of delivery, one type of genre, one type of where they do well, but they only attract one type of person or one type of personality.
You definitely live yourself doing that. On YouTube, it's nice because I can post a variety. Like, I try to divvy it up. I'll do obviously theme rides and do 20 minutes of hip hop, but then you can also do, okay, like you said, a 30-minute rock and roll ride, and it gets real creative there and hit all the different groups, because people on YouTube are going to be a lot more specific with their searches compared to somebody coming in to a studio in the city.
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about that, just the analytics behind exactly what you just said. Can you air that out a little bit?
1000%. So I would say, let me pull I have my analytics ready in case you ask questions.
Yeah.
Like, looking at my videos, I was curious. So just my top 5 right now: 20-minute hip hop spin class, 45-minute Queens of Pop, 10-minute low impact spin class, 2000 party ride, and a 30-minute audio run, which is a whole different ball game. But that's 5 totally different formats and different themes and lengths. But those are all top 5 performers right there. So like I said, I don't stick to just one specific thing. If I had to choose one, it would be 20-minute hip hop. But I also know that there's a larger audience who comes for other videos. So I think it's kind of interesting seeing, like, it's not just 5 formats of the same thing in my top 5. It's 5 different things.
I love that. Now, would you say, based on the comments, you're always going to have just kind of a general audience that loves whatever you put out, and then depending on the style, the genre, you're attracting different people? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, there's people who definitely come back every week or whenever I post. Just will take any class or any video because they're loyal. And there's also people, just like in the real world, who see, oh, it's a Taylor Swift ride, who will come once and then never come back again. That's fine. They came in for one view, they came in for one ride, and they're out. At least they know my style. If they want to come back for more, they can. But you're always gonna have people who come just for the class or just for you. It kind of depends.
Yeah. No, I love that. That speaks to, I guess, the difference too on when you mentioned search. People are searching. They're not going to a gym where they get what comes to the end of the class. They're actually looking for something specific, you know. And I don't know about you, and I'm sure it happens. Like, you'll have people come over from that are used to Peloton and Peloton having those specific genres, you know, and, you know, 90s, 80s, or hit and hills, or just really basic, generic, if you will, type of titles. How does all that play into, like, YouTube searchability and SEO, what they say, friendly?
People definitely look, and there's people who during COVID had Peloton, didn't want to pay the crazy prices, and then came to YouTube and found my classes that way. The best comments I get were, I got rid of my Peloton account and switched to you. That's like good, right? That's the biggest compliment you can get. So I would say they want similar classes though. So as far as quality, I'm giving, I think, similar content. Are my cameras as good? No. Are my visuals as great? No. I try to make it fun with fist bumps and random fire emojis and things like that to make it fun and exciting. But I can't compete with that on my budget, which is fine. They don't need that. They're getting it for free anyway. Yeah. So I would say, the way I would use it, I see their formats. Like, for example, they used to do I don't know if they still do it, the half strength, half cycling rides. I have a couple of those on my channel. I call them like bike boot camp. I stole that from them. Cool. I'm sure they stole it from someone else.
Yeah.
You take small things from different channels and different studios and add it to your own. Everyone does that. You should be doing that to get better. So I've done that with titling. I've done that with thumbnails. I've done that with formats. You should be doing that, I think, if you want to grow this a channel.
I agree. I have a few series of workouts that I call Cycle Camp, and kind of inspired the same way, you know, from Peloton, from the in-person experience, where it's kind of half and half. You know, you'll do 6 or 9 minutes on the bike, you'll come off and do a little bit of a circuit workout, come back, kind of go back and forth. And I agree, like a workout's a workout. Everybody was inspired by somebody, and we all get our ideas somewhere, and a bicep curl is a bicep curl, a squat's a squat, right? You know, and I agree. I think that also expands what we're able to help people, how to help them stay healthy, the impact that we make. You also, speaking of that, you also mentioned that you teach other classes besides cycling.
Yeah.
Which talk to me a little bit about that. Share with us.
So when I first started teaching cycling classes, a studio class opened up in the same gym. Like, oh, do you want to teach that? I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, yeah, let's do it. Taught a studio circuit class. Again, a lot of older people, so it wasn't burpees. It's more slow reps, easy rep count kind of vibes. Like, oh, this is kind of nice. From there, I started teaching at a gym called Rumble Training, teaching treadmill classes, half strength, half running. And now most recently, I've been teaching at Barry's boot camp at a couple of locations on the Upper East Side. Very high intense. People who go there are going to get their asses kicked for 50 minutes, which is, my vibe is a little more, I want you to have fun while you're here, while their vibe's a little more, you're going to get crushed respectfully. So I'm still getting used to that, but I'm still learning a lot of work. Like, again, every job you take, you're going to learn more and more things. So I'm learning new foundations of how to teach a class that I'll use in my YouTube videos as well. So now teaching maybe 10 to 15 classes a week, depending on how many subs I'm picking up as well, of cycling, strength, and running classes. That way, it kind of like, I feel like it rounds me out as a trainer.
Sure.
And also do private trainings as well. That's just more fun and engaging.
That's super cool. We kind of have a similar story in that I started in cycle as well. That was my first type of class that I taught. I was invited by a friend to take it, and just fell in love with it. I mean, I think something that we would both agree with, at least the in-person experience, and online too, in different ways, but the community aspect of it, you know, because not only do you have people like you and me up front leading something that's fun with great music, but then I'm sitting, you know, as a participant, I'm sitting next to somebody who is maybe there for the first time, or they've been there forever. You're saying hi, you know, engaging with that community. And I felt really accepted. This is when I was just a participant. And that later led to me wanting to do the same because of the value and how it changed my life, just being in that context. How do you, in person and online, create community? Like what? Like some of the things I'll do is I'll say, "Hey, say hi to somebody next to you," or blah blah blah. How do you do that?
In person, every single class, I'm always doing a question of the day. So maybe even a 60-second cooldown. So for example, this week's was, okay, you have a microwavable product you're putting in the microwave from Trader Joe's. It says microwave from 3 to 4 minutes. Team 1, you are doing it for 3 minutes. Team 2, you're doing it for 4. I want to see you raise your hand. What team are you on? So that way there's thinking less about the class and just a fun little thing to talk about. Oh, I only microwave mine for 3 minutes because it's quick. Oh, the older people do it for 4 minutes because their microwaves aren't as strong. There's always like fun, cheeky things you get. So that's one. And I always do a TV or movie rec of the week. That always gets people talking after a class too. Because obviously you can raise hands. I don't want a full conversation during class, but it's the things after class that add up. It's the best you can hear as an instructor is I'll see you next week.
Yes.
You want people coming back for more. So it's giving them reasons to come back. Oh, maybe we'll talk about the new Apple TV show. Great. There's one thing right there. Then think about online, it's letting people know what things you might have coming up, or saying, drop something in the comments down below. I want, like, you can still do the question of the day. I think I did in my most recent video. Let me know in the comments down below. I reply to every single comment. I've replied to every single comment on every video forever.
Yes.
So being like engaged on socials or in YouTube or engaging in person, that's key.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And you said something key there when people say, "I'll see you next week," and you just said something key too. What happens after is one of the most valuable pieces. And I think when we have something that's successful, that's community building, you find that at least the people who have time, right? They're stretching a little extra after class, and they're just talking and talking and connecting and sharing. You might have like the parents with that still have drop off, and they just got there after dropping off their kids. And then you have a few people that might be retired and to our point earlier, like just kind of everybody there, mixing it up. And I love that, man. And I do the same on the social media side of it. I try to get to every comment and reply, but I'm going to take some of your ideas, man. I love those questions because it's just so engaging. Has that, let's talk about how AI has helped in those questions and maybe in how has AI helped you in general, if it has at all, or if you use it, and what does that look like for Brett today versus?
So I've tested it out for playlists. I don't love it as much because I still think I'm using Map better than a computer does currently. Where I do use AI is with titling and giving me ideas for classes and thumbnails. So for example, I'm going to say, I want to do a pop artist ride with pop princesses. What 5 artists should I include? It'll give me people who have strong SEO. Okay, I'm going to use Madison Beer. I'm going to use Camila Cabello, and I'm going to use Sabrina Carpenter. So there's 3 right there who I know will get search terms.
Sure.
So that's one way to use it. Another way is look at my channel. Here's the videos I've produced. What are other videos I should be reproducing again?
Okay.
Final way of doing it, thumbnails, is make me here's my photo, put me in a 30-minute hip hop thumbnail that's dark. Give me 2 options, and I start tweaking from there. So ideation, I use Canva and I use ChatGPT to make thumbnails. And between those two, I'm getting better. I'm not great at it, but I'm getting better.
Yeah. No, I mean, I know we're just meeting literally today, but I use the same two tools, ChatGPT and Canva, to ultimately come up with thumbnails and ideas, and kind of the same thing. I agree that AI, I think we're the best at mapping our own music, right? Like we kind of know what we want to do with the song, and I agree it hasn't come that far yet to where it could do it for us. And I don't know that, at least right now, I don't know that I ever want it to, because I just want to hear the song. I want to feel the song, right? And know when those drops are coming in the chorus.
One thing I do, which I probably could use ChatGPT for, is maybe I make a playlist. I still go through, I know when each chorus is, how long each chorus is. So for example, okay, Chainsmokers, every single beat drop is going to be 24 seconds at 75 RPMs. But maybe I can take a screenshot of my playlist and say, hey, write me the timestamps of each beat drop and how long they are. Maybe that saves me a little bit of time. I'll try that after this. Might be worth it.
Yeah, I've never tried that before, so I definitely have to try it. I use I've been using a website called Kosick, and basically it's like it'll take any Spotify playlist and do multiple things with it, whether it'll sort it by BPM, it'll tell you like the majority of this playlist is EDM or the majority of this is rock. It'll give you like the percentages of styles of music. So that way I'm looking at it, I'm like, I'm really heavy on the rock here, but I wanted this to be a little more mixed in genres, so that helps me, because you had mentioned earlier that you sort by BPM too.
Yeah, I use a website very similar, and now even easier. Have you seen Spotify has their new mix?
Yes.
So that's helpful.
Just AI mix, right?
So that when you click the mix, it tells you everyone's exact BPMs. So that saves me some time too.
Yeah. So what I found with that is I love what it was doing especially with the transitions. I used it one time, and and again, I'm still learning it, and maybe I'm using it the wrong way, but I had an 80s rock song. I can't even remember what it was, but it transitioned beautifully, but like 30 seconds into the next song, because that was the best part of it, which sounded great, but then I got lost on my notes because I'm like, wait a minute, this song went from 3.5 minutes to 2.5 minutes because of the AI mix.
I hear you.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever
I
ran into.
I actually don't use the mix. I just turn it on to see the BPMs and then turn it right back off.
There you go. There you go. Okay,
I just use a normal 5-second crossfade to keep it simple.
Yeah, because that's what I do too. I use the crossfade, but I hadn't thought about using it just to see the BPMs now. So you're saving me time already, bro.
That's your new tool.
I appreciate it, man. And that's one of the things that I love about YouTube, and even just our conversation today, is that we all support each other, and it's one of those things where, we were talking about casting a wide net earlier. There online, there are going to be people who love Brett, who love Joe, who love Kaylee, who love Anna, who love Kelly, who love Alina, who love Jen, and they are attracted, kind of like in person, right? Like you go to your favorite class because of the personality and how you're connecting with the instructor. And there's a big world. I guess the advantage that people like you and I have is that we have the whole world, not just whoever is a member, right?
Correct.
At our club. Like what are your thoughts behind, just the idea of being able to impact the world? And what were your thoughts the first time you saw somebody from like Ireland or Europe or, something like that? How did that hit you?
What's cool, you have I don't know if you've ever done a live video. I've done a couple where I say, okay, at Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're all going to do a live cycling class. And those surprisingly get a lot of views even after you record them.
Yes.
I remember people were dropping in the comments where they're taking a class from. I'm like, oh, I'm in the basement in New Jersey right now. And there's people all over the world taking this class. That was the coolest thing ever. I think at one point there was maybe 45 concurrent people watching, which that's insane, I think.
Yes.
So I think that part's always exciting. And just getting comments. I think my favorites so far have been I have parents taking it with their kids sometimes, which I have some explicit music. It's still entertaining, I think, to see the parents doing with their kids.
Sure.
I think that's just a cool matchup too. And then even locally, there's been a time I was on a run and somebody's like, Brett? I was like, oh, what's up? He goes, oh, I watch your videos with my family. I'm like, what?
That's so cool, man.
That was cool. It's just in-person reaction. But that doesn't happen all the time. But it can be localized, it can be global. You forget that when you post videos, you forget people are going to see it sometimes. And it's nice to get reaffirmed that people do enjoy your content and are actually oh, I lost 20 pounds doing your videos over the last 4 months. That's sick.
It's so motivating, and it keeps us coming back, and if you're listening to this podcast today and you're one of the people who take our rides, just know your comments really go a long way for our hearts and our minds and the motivation that we have to continue making content. So please keep letting us know how we're changing your life.
Exactly. We're not doing it for the money.
No, it's something that we love people. And I think that's the common thread with instructors in general, is that we just love people. We love helping people. And it's a heart that we all share, and the cool thing is that we get to share that with the world online. And that's something that cannot be replaced or duplicatable. It's just amazing.
Like you said, it is different in person versus online, because you're talking to a camera versus talking to 40 people in a room. But either way, it is still usually good vibes when you finish it up.
Yeah. Now, do you, speaking of that, when do you still, where do you record now? And
so before COVID, I would sneak into the one gym I teach at, throw out my camera and record there. During COVID, there was nothing happening in New York City. Went back to my parents in New Jersey, set up a studio in the basement, steady there. My reason I stopped recording for the most part is I came back to New York City and had nowhere to record. I wasn't allowed to record in the gym I used to previously coach at. I wasn't going to pay thousands of dollars a month to rent a studio to put videos out for free, not get anything back. And I got to the point recently, I was like, now I'm just making excuses. I could put out an audio run, which I would love to talk to you about because I think they're fun to do. Please. And two is I can just go back to another studio and until they kick me out, put out more content. So that's what I did. 2 weeks ago, I went to one of the gyms I teach at. Nobody was there because it's the middle of the day. Recorded a class, went back out, edited. No one said anything. No one knew anything. I'm going to keep doing that until someone has a problem with it.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, no. And that's another thing that, again, if you're listening, we will do what it takes to put something out for you because we just love you that much. We love people that much. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about that, and I totally want to hear your audio run as well. So let's not forget to come back to that. But you were gone for 4 years. You came back, and you just mentioned that primarily for lack of a place to do it. Is that what was the biggest reason?
Exactly, because all the gyms you teach at, liability wise, they don't want you recording for your own personal gain, which I totally understand. So for now, it's just I walk in like a normal person, or I'm going to go practice for a class I have later that day.
Yeah.
Throw up my camera on my phone. Right now, I'm just doing iPhone and tripod. I'm keeping it simple.
Yeah.
We're not going to have multiple angles. Though. It's not going to be the most beautiful thing. But most important thing is I'm putting content out, which I think people would rather have that than the most polished video of all time. So that's where we're starting with.
No, I agree. I think that just seeing you back online for those of us who appreciated always seeing your content is exciting. Is exciting enough. You know, it doesn't, to your point, we don't need multiple cameras. We don't need all that. We just need Brett on the camera.
The goal would be to get back to that because I do enjoy like the high production value. Like your videos always look crisp and clean, and like the switching angles, like that's appreciated to me. The people watching the video have no idea how time consuming that is. Like even putting up a little graph that tracks the timer, or telling you what the new song is called. Like all that stuff is like, again, to the viewer, a nicety. Like for us, like you don't know that, okay, that's taking time to render. And like, oh, why did this just crash my app? Like there's a lot goes into it that you wouldn't think about. That like I think it's worth doing because it makes the viewing better, but it's also like it is work.
Yeah, no, you said it right, because I know you know, I try to put all that information on the screen, and then every once in a while you get a comment that says, hey, can you make the clock bigger? And I'm like, oh yeah, no big deal. You know, I'll just go back and tear apart the whole video.
I got a thing recently. It was like, why are there ads on this video? I was like, I'm making no money off this. I don't even know why there's ads on this video either. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's all YouTube's doing, right?
Exactly.
But yeah, there's a lot of work that goes into it. We try to be as efficient as we can with the time that we have, because again, we care about people, and we want to put out something that they can stay healthy to and feel connected and have the music that gets them moving. And so that's amazing. What has been something the craziest thing happened? It could be I don't know, whatever, something.
I got you covered on this one.
Yeah, okay.
I was going to talk about this last week, so it's good timing.
Okay.
I saw another trainer do this. It was like just like 3 wild stories that like out of the blue. I had one person in class walk in a minute or 2 late, sit in the front row, throw in headphones, and just grunt to his own music for 45 minutes. Fair enough, sir. Cool. I had another woman sitting very close to the door. This is right after COVID. She hadn't worked out in a while. She said, instead of leaving the room, sprints to the back of the room, grabs towels, proceeds to vomit in the towels. Comes back the next week and was like, I don't know if you noticed, but I threw up in class. We're like, we all noticed. Thank you.
We all noticed, and we smelled something.
Yeah, exactly. I had to cut a girl out of her shoes one time. Her laces got stuck in the bike. That was a fun one. What was the last one? Was a good? This one girl who was just chronically on her phone. I'd always tell, like, get off your phone. It's distracting to everybody.
Yeah.
She was like calling out someone for being on their phone. Ironically, I was like, so I walked up to her. I was like, she let me know before class she'll be on her phone because she's checking her daughter's insulin levels.
Yeah.
Like, if that's not okay with you, let me know. You can go say something, but like, people are ridiculous. The phones are getting to be a problem in person.
No,
they've been a problem in person.
Yeah, I have a ton of stories too, but the most recent ones, and one of them didn't happen to me. Is one of our instructors had mother and son in for the first time. This was an evening class. He had the shoe baskets, didn't have cycling shoes, you know, new to it, and comes up out of the saddle, and the shoe basket fell off to the side, and he literally broke his ankle, like coming out of this, like 13-year-old kid. I was like, what is going on? Like that was a little crazy. But most recently, something super uncomfortable. And this was, I addressed this issue, I think, a week ago, but for the past month, I would be in class and somebody would just fart, like, and it was bad. Like I don't know what was going on with their system, with what they were eating, but it was like the same and I don't want to be gross here, but just the same thick,
Oh
yucky.
my God, the viscosity of the fart.
Yes. And I know if I could smell it from the stage, like the first 3 rows are just dying right now, you know? And the first couple of times I kind of let it go. And to one participant who comes every week, he said, man, I can't focus. Like the last 3 classes, somebody just lets it go, you know? And so I didn't know how to address it. So I stood up at the end, and everybody kind of knows me as just, I'm real. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm not gonna, give you any fluff. And I said, hey, you guys know I'm real. I said, it's after the class was over, Brett. And I said, I just want to, address something. And I'll start with me. I said, I years ago didn't realize that I was intolerant to whey protein. And I would always get really super gassy until I found out the day that vegan worked better for me, and it reduced, all of that, all of the gassiness. And they're just kind of laughing. And I said, and I know, and I want to recommend that to somebody today. I said, maybe that's not your issue. I said, but something is happening, and maybe with your gut and with all the love in the world, try not using whey protein. And again, it wasn't even really about the whey protein. It was about bringing up that conversation in a fun way that helped me, that addressed the situation. And we haven't smelt it since. So I don't know.
We have to do it for the other people in the room. Exactly. Like you don't want to have to say anything to the person on their phone or the person farting, but like there's other people in the room who come back consistently. You owe it for them.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's yeah. So I'm sure we could share.
I haven't had that issue yet for like 8 years, but knock on wood, I don't.
Yeah, it was nuts, man. Talk to me about the audio run that you just mentioned. Curious.
Yeah. So people have probably seen Nike's had their own audio runs for years. They're fine. They're nothing special. Peloton has their audio runs. They're fine. Again, this behind the paywall.
What is the audio run? Just so
an audio run is, imagine this. I'm going to make a 30-minute playlist. Imagine a cycling class, but you only hear me audioly. So you hear the playlist and you hear me talking over it saying, okay, for the next 45 seconds, I do gears, gear 1, gear 2, gear 3. Gear 1's easy, cheeky. Gear 2, a little more race pace. And gear 3, you're hustling. After gear 3, you need a recovery. Okay. So it's just a 30-minute run, hit-based. I'm me walking you through, running you through what you could and should be doing right now. Because people have a problem going outside and just running for 30 minutes.
Sure.
It's boring. You don't know what music to play. So I just take the guesswork out. I'm going to tell you, okay, for the next 30 seconds, when the beat drops, you're going to go gear 2 for 30 seconds. And when you're done, gear 1. That can be a fast walk or slow jog. So it just takes the guesswork out of it. I didn't expect those to do well at all. That has maybe 60,000 views on Spotify and Apple. Or just like people, I put out maybe 12. They get taken down all the time for copyright. But like those did extremely well. And I get just as many comments on my audio runs as I do for the cyclings. And that was not planned at all. That was just, I knew I could make a better product. People needed it. So I put it out there.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. I agree that sometimes people just need to hear the coaching. And then to your point, and with good music, right? In the background, they don't know what to do. They go to the gym. And I'm imagining this would be something great for people just at the gym on a treadmill, right?
Well, at first I thought, oh, outdoors. And then people messaging, oh, I do this on the treadmill all the time.
Yeah.
Do it.
I love that. I love that. I started, and the other thing I think that happens for people like you and I to do that version, not only is it another way for people to train, but it actually saves our body a little bit. Would you agree with that?
The main thing is you're not sweating. Right. That's like, all I do is sweat, go through shirts and hats all day. Yeah. So just to sit at my table and hype you up from exactly where I am right now. Yeah. Is like, it is still time consuming because I'm still making playlists and things like that, but it's not as, I'm not working as hard as teaching a cycling class or sweating for 45 minutes.
Right. Right. Yeah. I started a Visual Zone Cycle channel, and which I'm doing something similar using MAUL or the Intelligent Cycle. And so it's a class and designed with heart rate zones. And you see the road, and I push a button and it just shows my little icon. And then I coach and I say, hey, welcome to Visual Cycle, blah, blah, blah.
That's like, you're not in that one personally. It's just your voice, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah, so this is something that I'm experimenting with, which is actually doing pretty decent right now. And it saves my legs. It kind of saves, you know,
Are the
back.
people taking those classes the same ones who are probably like the triathletes or the guys who are biking 60 miles on a weekend? Or do you think that's the more of the people who are taking the 20-minute pop girlies ride?
I'm seeing both. I've
Okay.
attracted more, a lot. So what I do is you know how YouTube lets you collaborate with your with other channels. So I collaborate my channel, with the main
Nice.
channel. And so essentially the main channel audience sees that come up because they subscribe, and then they go over to that one. And so I have a lot of people who normally would take my classes, which are just indoor people only. But to your point, I've had a lot of endurance athletes say, "Hey, I love these longer rides. I love the zone training. I love this. I love that." And I've been experimenting with just doing, and again, I wish YouTube had the ability to multi-track. In other words, what would it be like if one day we can record one video that had, you could turn the music on or music off, turn the coaching on, turn coaching off, and then people could customize it. So maybe they didn't like my playlist, but they want my coaching, but they could turn the music off, play their own music. And I don't know, just different things like
I get
that.
what you're saying. But that's also cool for you. Like, I know one thing that's important for YouTube, especially, is kind of like knowing your niche and being authentic.
Mhm.
Like doing something like that, or even people always requesting like, oh, do some of those zone rides you're talking about, or like an endurance 80-minute ride or 90-minute ride. Like, that's not me. I wouldn't enjoy that. Could I fake it for a video or two? Absolutely.
Sure.
I've done that for other videos, but it's not worth my time and effort to put something out that I'm not enjoying, because I think that's going to come across in the video if there are at least a couple of them.
Yeah, no, and that's what I guess makes us all unique, is that that's not something that you enjoy, and we have to, we have to enjoy what we do for sure. I've enjoyed the zone training, and it has attracted a little bit of a different audience on that side. But yeah, other things that I'm experimenting with, but I hadn't thought about putting it on Spotify or
Just audio. I mean, put it up there until it gets booted for copyright issues, but
yeah.
worth a try.
I'm gonna try that, man. Thank you I'm learning so much, man. You're a wealth of knowledge, Brett. Like
Try out Libsyn or Spreaker. You can, both of them are free podcast things, at least for the first podcast or first few episodes.
say those again.
I'll drop it in the chat for you. It's
Okay.
One's called Spreaker, one's
Okay.
called Libsyn.
Gotcha. Okay. I will I'll put that in the link as well, or in the description of this video as well. So let's talk about what you're back. You have one or two. How many videos do you have out now?
So I have one posted. I recorded an audio run that'll go live next weekend. I'll record another 2 classes tomorrow, a 30-minute and 20-minute. That way, if I can keep posting once a week, I'm happy with that.
Yeah. I love that. And that's going to be your cadence, is trying to get out one every week.
That's my hope. As long as things stay good with recording where I'm currently doing that at.
Yeah.
No issues there. I'll put out consistent videos, so we'll keep getting more content. If it gets to a point where I can find somewhere I can record a lot more content, great, but I'm not pushing my limits just yet.
Yeah. No, it's a grind. It's a grind. I try to get as ahead of it as much as I can too. That way, we can recover our bodies as well. Because one of the things I don't know that everybody realizes is when you are doing YouTube, the majority of us teach in person as well. It's not just online, and our bodies pay a little bit of a price for it, So what do you do, Brett, for recovery, for, just dialing it back? Are there specific days that you have off, or what does that look like for you?
So I think what people forget is a lot of trainers, I teach in the mornings, I teach at nights. My middle of the day is pretty wide open. So that's my time to go for a workout or a run. Things I swear by. Theraguns. I think everyone should have one. Whether it's the mini one or the mid-size one. Love that thing. My other one is bougie. I have the Normatec leg sleeves. And I got those during COVID with a great deal off Craigslist. And I swear by those too. Does anybody need them? Absolutely not. But I feel like LeBron James when I put those on. I'll throw them on. I'll watch a show for 40 minutes. And then I feel pretty good after that.
This is wild, because it's like we're the same we do the exact same thing, man. I have my Normatex right by my couch when we watch something on TV or whatever. I throw them on. I actually at Lifetime they have a whole recovery area, and they use Normatex. And what I did was, because I love them so much, to your point, they compress your legs, they flush the lactic acid out. They it's like having a foam roller for every angle of your leg, and you don't have to roll around on the ground.
Yep.
You could relax, play on your phone or whatever while your legs are being recovered. I went on eBay and I found just the boots that were my size, because I think they just small, medium, large, something like that, pretty simple. And I keep them at work because they're so popular at work. They're either broke or people are using them all day. So I grabbed just the boots. I didn't buy the whole set and then use the pump at work. Yeah, that way I'm never I'm never waiting in line, so I just grab my own because they're that important. And if you're listening to this podcast, the Normatec boots are a godsend.
But I wish.
I know. I wish I was some kind of a sponsor with them too.
Gold right there.
They're so
exactly. And then my other two, when I can, I like to do the contrast therapy, the cold and hot. So there's a couple places in New York City that are good for that. If you're in New York City, go to Othership. I do have a promo code there. That's great. Have you heard of that?
No.
So it's great concept. It's sauna, cold tub, but instead of just doing it by yourself, I can't just go into a sauna and sit for 20 minutes. You have a person, they do a class format. You can have as much as 10 people, as much as 50 people in this huge ass sauna at one time. They lead you through breathing, coaching, and meditations and things like that. And then you go all together to the cold tubs and you come back to the sauna. So it's not gamified, but it's more of a class environment.
Yeah.
And then the other one is I've been into acupuncture lately. I don't know if you've ever dove into that, but like once a week,
a few times, but
just gives me like a reset that I need, because I'm always going and like overthinking and on. This gets me like my 1 hour of the week where I can just not move and just breathe.
Yeah, it's so important. For years, I didn't prioritize recovery, and I think my body paid the price for it. I was always in pain. I remember this was about maybe 10 years ago. My little niece jumped up on my lap, and I was just like, and it was just pain from like my muscles never really healing from just cycling. And it wasn't until, a few years back where I discovered like the Normatec boots and all of the above, and really, and then my age, right? It's like you get older and you got to like take care of your body. It doesn't bounce back as much, but recovery has to be a priority for those of us who are in this industry, to take
a fun question for other instructors. If you do a 45-minute ride, how many miles are you riding on average-ish? I haven't even talked to other instructors about this, but good question for you.
I would say, so you're asking me?
Yeah.
Okay. So I would say, if it's 45 minutes, I'm going to guess about 8 to 12 miles. It depends on.
Okay. I'm usually 8.5-ish miles.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe less, because I think if you go real hard for an hour, you might get 20. So correct. I think
the hardos in class are getting 16 to 18. The normal person's probably getting 12-ish, maybe 10. And you have people who are doing absolutely nothing, there for the vibes. I don't care. I'm happy you're there doing 6 miles. Bravo.
Yes. But I think once in a while I pay attention to that. I don't know if I should or not, but I think I'm somewhere, because all my classes are an hour in line. So I'm somewhere between 12 and 14, somewhere in there. It depends on how much time I get, how often I get off the bike and things like that. Are you one of those instructors that comes off the bike when you teach? And
my rule of thumb is I'll get off once or twice, depending on the room. Like there's one place I teach at that has the chill towels in the room. So I'm known, like that class specifically, we're always going to do like a half-mile trial. So I'm going to get the cold towels and walk around with them afterwards. That way, after their 90-second push, they get 90 seconds off. They're getting cold towels. There's another studio that doesn't have great ventilation. So after their push, there's no cold towels, but I have my towel. I'm just waving people down. It gives it a little sense of community. It gives them some levity, and also gives them 2 seconds of being cool down. So things like that. I'm not the guy in your face going like back and forth.
Sure.
I do see value in that, but I like when soul cycle instructors do that sometimes, but also can be a little gimmicky too. Like I don't need to be in someone's face. I'm never going to tell someone to grab heavier weights or turn up. Like I'll never touch someone's bike either. I
Sure.
don't like when instructors go in and add some resistance. That's not your job. Your job's to coach someone through it. You don't know what they're going through in that day. Like
Right.
let them live.
I agree. I agree. There was years ago, there was an instructor that did that, and I just never really felt comfortable with that or good about doing that to somebody. You know, that's yeah, that's just kind of a no-no. I'm kind of the same way, man. Maybe once or twice during class as I feel like it's necessary or just to, get off, motivate everybody a little bit. I love how creative you are with your classes. Like I really hope that other instructors get a ton of value and those who are listening understand, the brain behind what you do, your mindset. A couple more questions. When you how important is it rather and I like to call it like setting the stage, meaning that you're there, before class starts, music's on, you're setting the tone, you're connecting with members. Talk to me about what Brett's class looks like 15 minutes before showtime.
I would say also pretty dependent on time of the class and where I'm teaching. Like for example, this morning I was 7:45, older demographic.
Okay.
I'm 15 minutes before every single class religiously. People don't show up to that class until 5 minutes before class. Cool, doing what you gotta do. So that one is not as important. I'm still saying hello to everyone, giving fist bumps to people walking in. And there's another class, for example, Barry's, where that door opens 5 minutes before class. The music's bumping, the lights are dimmed. Like that setting a tone is completely different because they don't know what's on the way, but they know my T-Pain song is banging right now, and their energy is already like starting to build up. So it's like, one's like building anticipation, where the other classes, I don't need to do that. It's earliest when I get on their bike and start moving their legs. So I would say it's very depending on the class. And then for videos online, which people are watching your content, obviously, that one's, you need to start with energy. You don't need to start like at a 10, but you need to start like with a little bit of a baseline above average to get people at least into it. Because you see with YouTube videos, and I've managed a lot of channels over the years, people will drop off quick. If they don't like your energy, if you have none in the beginning, they will happily click the suggested right next to it and scroll to the next video.
Yeah. I agree. Those are part of like the retention, of another angle to online, teaching, online instructing. And I think we've all had the person walk out in person too that didn't like.
I still see how people walk out all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, it's not for you. Would I prefer you wait till a little later? Yeah. If you have to leave during class, you let me know.
Sure.
I've never had an issue with that. But like when you have somebody who just leaves middle of class and you're like, the walk of shame past everyone in the front row, you're like, fair enough. Sometimes you can see like, okay, well, not for them. And other times you do like take it personally. Like there's times like I know the ride's a banger and like it just doesn't hit for everyone. That's fine. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. That's fine.
Yeah. I think that's something that instructors in general, we kind of torture ourselves even when we know. So what I mean by that is I sent out a message to our team yesterday. At the time that we're recording this, it's right around spring break time, and I sent out a message because every year without fail, we get our feelings hurt because classes empty out a little bit. People go on spring break. We're having to sub classes. We're having to cover, or you have teachers come in that haven't been there forever because they're on their break, so you have different audiences. You kind of have a little bit of everything. But I try to motivate our instructor team every year and just say, hey, over the next few weeks, it is spring break. Some classes might be a little fuller. Some might be not as full. I don't want you to take that personal because I know we get in our own heads, even knowing this, we're like, what is wrong? What did I do? And like, that's a real thing, right? For instructors.
Yeah, I got to look at the full picture. Are you growing over time as opposed to like the seasonality is so there, especially in group fitness and around those holidays. You're like, okay, you have the January, February bump. People start to dip off. You're like, okay. And then May, people pick up back up. And then July, they're gone again. So you see, it's cyclical.
Yes, definitely. What do you want people to know about you, Brett, that we haven't talked about? Or is there anything else that you think is super valuable for other instructors like us that should know, and what else should we know about you?
So I think that the main thing is, as long as you enjoy making content that you enjoy, that's like step one. I see a lot of people just putting out content that's maybe copying others, but you're never going to get far doing that. Like, you have to enjoy the whole process. Like, I enjoy making a playlist. I enjoy recording. Do I enjoy setting up the cameras? No. But do I enjoy, like, once that camera's on, being on for 20 or 30 minutes? Yes. I enjoy the process of going through making fun TikTok edits of my classes afterwards. Like, if I enjoy all of that, like, it's worth it to me. And the fact that hundreds, sometimes thousands of people are watching it, that's a win. So I would say is find somebody who you enjoy watching their content and support them. That's the best way you can do it.
I love it. I love it. Something that I want to ask before we finish up, how, like, just a moment ago, we were talking about like kind of setting the stage and what it feels like. Research shows that there's this brain body connection with how people are made to feel, how they're motivated, what the music does to help them. Talk to me a little bit about all of those things as they come together in Brett's mind, how you see that.
So when you listen to a song, you can tell instinctively, what type of song is this? Is this a climb? Is this a sprint? Is this a cool down? Is this a recovery? So I just try to, like, I don't think too much about that. Like, when I hear it, okay, I know what that's going to be, and just letting that kind of roll out through the playlist.
Okay.
The other one is giving people some time and space for themselves too. Every single in-person class I do, after a recovery, I always give them a 60-second freestyle. I tell them, okay, maybe there's something that you need right now, whether that's a sprint, some jumps, you just want to sing along to the music. I turn the lights off and give them 60 seconds for themselves when they know there's a little bit of recovery afterwards. Today, it was Breakaway by Kelly Clarkson. The last 85 seconds is a banger. Yeah. I put the lights off, let people go after it. That way, it gives them like a little leeway to take what they want. Maybe it's something they really wanted to do today that I just didn't program. Now they have it to do. So, like, yes, I want to instruct and like give them cues, but also give people some time and space for themselves.
Yeah, I love that. And how often do you do that again? Just this?
I do that once a class. Main reason being, so I'm going to do a crazy push. They know they're going to have the recovery after that. And at that point, we're probably 75% done the class. We're going to do some speed ramps just to flush the legs out. And then I'm going to give them 60 seconds to chase down whatever they need to chase down.
Gotcha. So where you teach, it sounds like they let you develop the class yourself.
What's funny is I teach different brand classes, but me and you could teach the same cycle beats class. Everyone's classes are so different. Like, when there's a new certification, I always get that to teach the new style of class. But there's a lot of similarities between a power and a beats class. Like, I would say mine's pretty much a pretty solid hybrid.
Sure. We
could teach the same title class and have very different styles.
Yeah.
So there's some leeway in there.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, I agree. I think if we were all, to your point, to get the same playlist, it would be the great, of great bangers, if you will, but it would be completely different class, and we could create those experiences. I know at Lifetime, they have the formats that we keep, but they let us build inside the formats. I always tell everybody, like, they give us the fence lines, but we get to make the garden however we want, plant the seeds and design it, which I appreciate, being able to do that. Now, hey, this has been good, man. I know we can probably keep going, but I really, really have enjoyed this conversation, like the wealth of knowledge. I hope that people appreciate everything that goes into what you do, Brett, your mind, your thought behind it, your evolution of the first worst video to who you are today. Is there anything else you want anybody, the audience, to know about Brett?
I would say I post a lot of content out there, whether it be on Get Fit Done now or my own channels. Just like, if you want to go play around on TikTok or Instagram, go hang out, say what's up. If you have any questions about my classes, any song recommendations or theme rides, I'm always taking inspiration from other people. Like, there was one class I did that was just recommendations from comments.
Yeah.
That performance was great. So I would say, if there's an instructor you like, engage with them. If there's a class you like show support, like I said earlier, and have fun with it. It's never that serious. Like, I don't like when instructors are saying, like, this is the most important. No, you're there, you're moving, that's enough. Get a good sweat, have
Yeah.
some fun. That's like, it should never be that deep. Show up, have some fun, get sweat, and you're all solid.
I love it. Well, I'll certainly share everywhere to find you on this video. And man, everybody out there, like, give it up for Brett, because this was good, man. I really, really enjoyed this.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate the invite to hop on that quick.
Yeah, no, and it worked out right away. This won't be the last one. Definitely be cheering you on as you make your comeback. And what I do at the end of in the description of all my videos, I'll put, hey, go check out my other friends. I'm going to add you to that list now that you're
Awesome.
back.
Thank you.
And do my best to support you. Of course, we'll post this video and so your audience knows more about you, and my audience finds you as well. And that's the magic of YouTube. So thank you so much, Brett. Appreciate you.
Thank you to the audience, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate you.